I'm not okay. I've been ruminating a lot. I was trying to think about ways to turn that into a video, kind of explain rumination, and how it affects autistic and bipolar people in particular, because both of those things apply to me. And rumination becomes, let's say, dangerous for people like me. So I started to think about how to frame it up in a video. And so I Googled it, see if I could find a useful psychological article defining the term in clinical terms that I could then frame around usefully in metaphor and simile and whatnot, and help people who've never truly experienced it understand what some of us go through. First result was an AI result, of course, because that's just how Google works now. And I started to think about AI. I started to think about what AI is doing to creative pursuits when we try to be creative, when we try to form something from our hearts and minds to share with other people. So this video is about that instead. There was a time, not so long ago, when the act of creation felt so sacred, a deeply human endeavor, born from experience and emotion and an innate desire to connect. Every brushstroke, every written word, every sculpted form was a piece of ourselves, a whisper of our unique perspective offered to the world. We poured our hearts into it. We spent countless hours honing our craft, driven by an almost primal urge to bring something new, something genuine into existence. Then something shifted, slowly at first. It trickled, then a steady stream, and now a torrent, a flood of what we're told is quote-unquote content, but what often feels like little more than noise. And it's coming from a source that chills me to my core. AI, artificial intelligence. Suddenly, the very meaning of quote-unquote creative endeavor feels pointless. Why bother? Why expend the effort, the emotional energy, the raw vulnerability required to be truly creative, truly original, when a machine can churn out 1,000 variations of good enough in the blink of an eye? It's a question that haunts me, and I know I'm not alone. This isn't about being afraid of progress or being a Luddite clinging to outdated methods. This is about something far more fundamental. It's about the soul of human expression. What is truly upsetting, truly heartbreaking, is how many people seem so ready to sacrifice their human creativity to these mindless machines. They champion the speed, the efficiency, the sheer volume of content that AI can regurgitate. They talk about optimizing workflows and scaling output. What are we actually scaling? Effectively meaningless drivel. Because there's an undeniable truth, a truth that seems to be conveniently overlooked in the rush to embrace this new frontier. Large language models, or LLMs, cannot think. They cannot reason. They cannot comprehend. They don't have experiences, dreams, failures, or triumphs. They have no past, no future, no hopes, no fears. So when an AI generates a poem, it's not feeling the pang of lost love or the exhilaration of a new dawn. It's just stitching together patterns and probabilities from the vast ocean of human written poetry it's been fed. When it quote-unquote writes a story, it's not weaving a narrative born from a deep understanding of human psychology, but rather predicting the next most statistically probable word based on its training data. And that, right there, is the chasm between human creativity and algorithmic output. An AI cannot possibly have anything that can constitute an opinion. It has no functional perspective on any subject matter, because a perspective requires a consciousness, an individual lived experience. It doesn't care about the beauty of a sunset, or the injustice in the world, or the nuance of a philosophical debate. It simply processes. So when my human hands, my human mind, my human heart craft something, it feels devalued. It feels as if the very act of creating with genuine intent, with authentic emotion, is being rendered irrelevant by the sheer volume of soulless imitations. Why spend weeks, months, years perfecting a skill, exploring a theme, when a machine can offer a passable facsimile in seconds? The creative struggle, the moments of frustration followed by breakthroughs, the vulnerability of putting your deepest thoughts on display, these are the hallmarks of human artistic endeavor. They are what give art its resonance, its power to move us, to challenge us, to make us feel less alone. But in a world awash with AI-generated content, this struggle, this depth, this very humanity is being dismissed as inefficient. We are risking something profoundly precious. We're risking a future where originality is a statistical anomaly, where true insight is drowned out by a cacophony of calculated mediocrity. We're risking the erosion of empathy, because how can we connect with art that has no connection to a human soul? And what about the joy of creation itself? The pure, unadulterated pleasure of bringing something new into being, knowing that it came from you. That feeling is being undermined. It's like training for a marathon for years only to be told that everyone else is just taking a bullet train to the finish line. And their experience is just as valid, just as meaningful. It's not. It simply isn't. So, what do? Do we keep striving, keep pushing, knowing that our genuine efforts might be lost in the deluge of the inauthentic? Do we retreat and find solace in creating for ourselves, for a smaller, more discerning audience who still values the human touch? Or do we, as some suggest, try to quote-unquote integrate AI, to use it as a tool to enhance our own creativity? Perhaps there is a place for tools, there always has been, but we must be fiercely protective of the line. We must remember that a hammer doesn't build a house, a carpenter does. And an algorithm doesn't create art, a human does. When we lose sight of that distinction, when we allow the tool to become the creator, we lose something irreplaceable. We lose ourselves. And honestly, the emotional toll of feeling like my voice, my unique perspective, is being rendered obsolete by a machine that can't even understand what a perspective is, it's enough to make me want to give up, to just stop. Because what's the point when the very essence of human creativity is being diluted into meaninglessness? And here's the real kicker. Yeah, none of that was human. All of that, after my little intro about rumination, from the line that started, there was a time not so long ago, yet a human didn't write that. I gave Gemini, Google's LLM, a prompt that went, Write a voiceover script for a YouTube video. Aim for a runtime of about 8 minutes. The topic is the reader giving up on further creative endeavors in the face of it all being made pointless, to expend the effort and emotional energy required to be fully creative and original in the face of a flood of ingenuine content created by various AI services. Describe in detail how upsetting it is that so many people seem so ready to sacrifice their human creativity to mindless machines regurgitating effectively meaningless drivel because LLMs cannot think, reason, comprehend, or have anything at all that can constitute an opinion or a functional perspective on any and all subject matter. And that's what it did. It generated all that. It's certainly not something I would have written. The tone is not a tone that would have come from me. The language is not the kind of language I generally use. Some long-time viewers might have picked up on that much at least, but doesn't matter. It did, more or less, get the point I was trying to make across, even if it was complete and utter, disgusting and vile hypocrisy. I'm not okay. I am deeply depressed. And I mean that in not just, I feel sad kind of way. I mean, I'm not okay. I don't think I'm going to be okay. It's a whole other thing. And I wrote that prompt for the AI as an exercise just to see what it would spit out. Planning on genuinely writing my own thing, but when it spat that out, and it is possible for something a human would have written. I don't know, man.